podcast made by basketball fans for basketball fans. From the hottest takes, news, analysis, and passion for the sport that we all love, this is the Fast Break Pod with Finn James and Will Tremaine. Welcome into the Fast Break Podcast, the podcast made by basketball fans
for basketball fans.
Finn James,
Will Tremaine,
back with another episode. We are here with episode number 14. Been on a bit of a run. 14 episodes, Will.
14. It's gone so fast.
It's been months.
14 weeks.
Crazy. I don't think we'd be 14 weeks consistent either, to be fair.
No, I mean, well, we're not going to be as of next week.
No.
Because Finn's are going on a little family excursion.
Sorry, guys.
Good for you. But,
sorry, team.
Yeah, we're going to have a break from next week's episode, guys. So we're going to get your fill of NBA news in on this week's episode.
Absolutely.
But how do we start, Finn?
World news, as always. Will, do you want to run us through some of the rugby results? I think this was the last week of that European tour window for the international rugby scene. What have you seen?
Autumn Nation Series wrapped up this week. 4 games we'll go through quickly. France beat Argentina 37-23. Bit of a blowout win, if I might say so. I thought this one would be a little bit closer. 14 points though. Good effort from the RGs. South Africa destroyed Wales.
No surprises here.
As expected, Wales have just been on a massive slump at the moment. 45-12 in that one. Ireland also with a huge thumping of Fiji, 52-17 in Dublin. And of course, the game of the round. What happened in this one, Finn? All Blacks,
Italy. Obviously, I was expecting a bit of a blowout from the All Blacks here, but surprisingly, a lot closer than I think most people were expecting. 29-11, only a 18-point win. I think, if my math is correct. And Scotland and the Wallabies, I think, is tomorrow morning too. That's going to be a really good match. But All Blacks round off their tour, and they've finished the season, I think, 10 wins out of 14 games. Not sure if that was what most people were expecting. I'm sort of sitting at about a C- on the All Blacks season.
What would you give it on a rating out of 10? I heard this on the radio this morning. They had people coming in talking about what they'd give the All Blacks season. 1 through 10.
I think it's about a 6.
A 6.
I think if we didn't drop that game against Argentina in Wellington earlier on, and we beat France, I would have been at like an A, because that would have been 12 wins out of 14. The only losses would have been to South Africa in South Africa, which I didn't think would come away with a win at all. So I'm sitting pretty low because I think we probably should have beaten France, and we definitely should have beaten Argentina. But to be fair, not the worst season considering it was Razor's first year. Quite a few new players and no Richie Mwanga for the year too. But shout out Sam Kane and TJ Perenara for completing their international careers. Pretty good careers. Sam Kane, very underrated. I thought he had a great career with the All Blacks.
Yeah, I was a little bit more optimistic. I'd give them a 7 out of 10 for this one. I think, like you said, I think that Argentina win really was the only the Argentina loss, was the only really disappointing one in my books. South Africa, both of them in South Africa, close games. I think that was expected. And the one in France, losing by 1 point in their home country, I don't think we can take too many negatives away from that for the All Blacks. And I think we've progressively been getting better as the season's gone on. So I'd give it a solid 7. But what other sports have been happening this week, Finn?
Sail GP underway in Dubai. The Black Foils, as they like to call them. They came up short in last year's Sail GP. They won the whole regular season, but fell short in the final. So maybe a little bit of a what am I trying to say here? A little bit of a comeback revenge tour for the boys this season. And a bit of UFC last night on Fight Night as well. Well, obviously you're the big combat sports guru on the the so what did you see last night?
Yeah, obviously we usually just break down the big pay-per-views, but whenever a Kiwi's on a card, we gotta shout them out. This time it was our light heavyweight contender Carlos Ulberg, the Black Jag as he likes to go by.
Crazy.
He was stepping into the octagon. This one was in Macau, which is like the kind of the Asian version of Las Vegas.
Yes,
it's very like gambling is legal there. Big gambling community. This one was on very late. Had to stay up till 1 a.m. to watch this one, but I had to do it. Carlos Ulberg came away with a unanimous decision win against Volkan Oezdemir from Switzerland. Bit unexpected. Ulberg, he usually knocks out his opponents. Very known for his check left hook. But yeah, good to go the distance in this one. I think it was quite a clear cut. 3-0, maybe 2-1. But he continues. 7-fight win streak now in the light heavyweight division. I think he could be in line for a title shot soon. Maybe one more win. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the UFC world with him.
I'll throw this question at you. Obviously in the light heavyweight division, how much longer until he potentially gets a fight with maybe the likes of Alex Pereira?
Well, it's quite funny. Recently, we've been seeing a lot of low-ranked contenders getting title shots. We had Steve Erceg in the flyweight division. Khalil Roundtree just recently, actually, a light heavyweight. I think he was the 9th ranked light heavyweight, and he got put right in there against Pereira. And coming up next month, Kai Asakura, a Japanese fighter. He's just been signed to the UFC. And his first fight in the UFC, he's fighting for the flyweight championship.
Damn.
So that's quite crazy. That's very crazy. So I think at any given time, Olberg could be chucked in there against Pereira. And especially considering that he's a striker, he'll have an entertaining fight with Pereira. And he's teammates with Adesanya, who obviously has that rivalry with Pereira.
Correct.
Doesn't hate him. They have a very good mutual respect for one another now.
Wow. Now. Previously, maybe fights. Not. Yeah, previously not. But that's all for the world news. FIBA window at the moment. So no NBL on this weekend. They resume next weekend, of course. But that means the Tall Blacks have a few games. I thought we would cover this before we get into the big topics of this episode, being the NBA. So we'll cover off this very, very, very quickly. The Tall Blacks were out in Philippines on Friday night for their Asia Cup qualifier match. They have another game tomorrow night against Chinese Taipei down in Christchurch. This was a bit of a back and forth game. I stayed up and watched it. I didn't think I slept until like 2:30, so I'm not sure how much it was worth it, but it was a relatively entertaining game. The Tall Black squad was definitely a lot weaker than we've definitely seen in the past. No Shaili, no Ty Webster, no Yanni Witzel, no Finn Delaney. So it was a pretty...
No Abercrombie.
Well, obviously not. Corey Webster was playing though, captaining the team, had an outstanding game, but they played the Philippines, a 93-89 loss, and it was the first ever loss to the Philippines in the history of their rivalry. Never happened before. Big name on the Philippines, Kai Soto, obviously sort of almost cracked the NBA last year, the 7'3" center. I think he played for the Adelaide 36ers last year, so definitely has some good experience. He was quite dominant. And Justin Brownlee, the PBA Michael Jordan, some could say, kind of led the way with them. But a sold-out crowd of 20,000. Man, Filipinos love their basketball, Will.
Yeah, I was quite surprised to hear that stat that the Philippines have never beaten the Tall Blacks. We're not historically known to be one of those top teams in the world, and I just figured the Philippines, I know basketball's the biggest sport in the Philippines over there, and they have got the likes of Jordan Clarkson, some high-level NBA players, so I would have assumed that they'd gotten a win over the Tall Blacks at some point in history, so surprised to hear that one, and for us to lose by 4 points, obviously that's a bit of a painful one to take away. Close one over there in Manila. But yeah, Corey Webster, great game from him as the captain, leading the way. I think he kind of made a statement that maybe he should still be in the NBL, Finn.
Well, he was on the Perth Wildcats last year. Didn't really produce numbers that they were expecting. Obviously, his stint on the Breakers for however many years was outstanding. Multiple championships. One of the best mid-range shooters in the NBL has ever seen. Went to Perth last year and just didn't really find his feet with his brother alongside him. I think Ty Webster's definitely kind of surpassed him as the brotherly duo. I think Ty Webster's definitely a bit better than him now. But, first game as captain for the Tall Blacks, dropped 25 points, 5 of 6 from 3, tough middies, led the way. But a really poor third quarter. The Filipinos went on a 16-0 run in that third quarter. And the boys tried to fight back in the fourth, but couldn't just get there. Some other players that stood out for me, Will, Tom Vodonovich and Sam Wardenberg, both 19 points. Sam Wardenberg has been excellent for the Kings Taipans this year. Obviously slipped into that top 5 power forward list for us. So I wasn't surprised with him. His shot-making ability was excellent. And Taylor Britt, no NBL team for him, but he played for the Canterbury Rams the season just gone. Notched 13 assists on the night.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. I think he's definitely a bright one to look out for, and he'll definitely be getting a call up to the NBL at some point.
I think so.
In the future.
He is getting quite old. I think he's in his late 20s. And the reason he gets so many minutes, Judd Flavel is the coach of the Tall Blacks now. He coaches that Canterbury Rams team. So I'm not surprised to see someone like Taylor Britt get all these minutes. But yeah, the boys continue their Asia Cup qualifier campaign tomorrow night against Chinese Taipei. The last time they faced each other, they got a 20-point win. So I'm expecting a bit of a blowout from the Tall Blacks on Monday night, hopefully.
Hopefully so. But yeah, that's all for the local basketball this week. As you said, no NBL. Unfortunately, we won't have an episode next week, but we'll be right back in with all our NBL news as soon as the season started back up. But let's get into it, Finn. What is happening today on this special edition of the Fast Break podcast?
For all the lovely people watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see that there is a empty spot on the wall of jerseys today. PJC no longer here. We've got an empty coat hanger and an extra chair. We've got a special guest on the podcast today. A big fan of the NBA, not so much NBL, so we thought we'd get him on to run through the hottest takes, probably the stupidest takes as well, potentially, on the Fast Break Pod. We're going to have some great chats, but a good friend of ours, we'll introduce him now.
NBA expert, sling god, some people call him, elite passer, the one and only, Adam Singer. Hey! Welcome, mate. Welcome. Good to have you on.
Thank you very much. It's an honour and a pleasure to be here, really.
Our first ever special guest. How do you feel?
I feel, honoured, really. Like,
Wow.
the Fast Break Podcast, one of my favourite, if not my favourite podcast in the world. Run by two of my very good mates, so
Very kind
really
of you,
happy to be here.
So let's get into it.
Yeah.
You're obviously, let's get out of the room. What team do you support? Who's your favourite player? Get into it.
And why do you have Michael Beasley behind you as well? I think we should get into that at some point.
Okay, so me, I'm a LeBron guy, big LeBron James guy, the greatest player of all time. But very close to being my favourite player is the man behind me, Michael Beasley,
Crazy.
the greatest 1v1 player of all time.
What?
Well, we'll get into that.
Yep. So, I decided to bring his jersey on. You know, these guys have their favourite players, so thought I'd have one of mine.
It's
I
not,
have
even
a
his,
LeBron jersey.
it's not even his NBA jersey. This is,
No,
this is a deep cut.
Yeah, it's the K-State college jersey. My favourite jersey in my collection, so I thought it'd be a nice addition to the wall. So
Fair enough.
So we'll get into it then. Michael Beasley. I think this is where we should start the chat with you, Adam.
okay.
First of all, why is Michael Beasley one of your favorite players of all time? I'm assuming he's probably not number one.
He's close, but it's LeBron. But
So
yeah,
LeBron's your favorite player?
yeah,
So that's your GOAT as well?
my
then?
goat. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
What
Should be
makes Michael Beasley one of your favourite players, though?
Have you watched him?
I have watched him. Obviously, he kind of got pushed out of the league a little bit too
Yeah,
early.
some politics in there, but no, I just think if you've watched him play, he's pure scorer, pure bucket. Grew up in the DMV playing AAU with Kevin Durant. Like to me, he's like the left-hand version of KD, really. Like 6'10", 240, whatever he weighs, he's just like mid-range three-level score. He's just a bucket. And I saw him. I started seeing a lot of videos in the off season and in like the lockdown of him like in these pro runs, like just cooking against current NBA stars, like ex-NBA guys. And I just really liked his game, so I started watching more, and I was like, yeah, he's a bucket.
So did you fall in love with him while he was in the league? Well, not pause.
I fell in love with his game.
Fell in love with his
Yeah.
game. Platonic love for
Yeah.
Michael Beasley, I think we should say. While he was in the league, or like slightly after, on the back end of his career?
I mean, I liked him in the league, but I obviously didn't start watching him until they started showing, like, you know, they went backstage, started talking to him, getting the videos of him in the off season and working out. But I think when he was on the Knicks and he was like 2018, 2018 Beasley, it was a good season. Right after Melo went to the Thunder, so he had a role there and he was getting buckets, and I was like, yeah, damn, he's a good scorer. He was putting up 30s, putting up 25s. I feel like if he had that role earlier on in his career, and he had the opportunity to like go and be that first option, I reckon he could have been a all-star, like a guy that was putting up scoring numbers in the league.
So somebody that's so good at scoring, like I've seen takes that he was like too good for his role.
Yeah.
Because obviously the NBA is filled with role players.
Yeah.
He was one of those guys that was too good to be a role player, but not good enough to be a star, maybe?
I think the intangibles of a star he didn't have. Like the scoring ability he definitely had. He was actually a pretty underrated passer, but like as a teammate, you know, he's a pretty cocky guy.
Yeah.
He definitely believes in himself. But no, I think it was just a lot of situation. He was drafted to Miami, 2008. Like, he gets drafted to a city like that. It's pretty hard to like lock down and be focused on your NBA career. Don't know how D-Wade did it, but it was pretty rough for Beasley. He said it himself. If he was drafted to like a Minnesota or somewhere like that, he would have been way more focused on ball.
Well, he had a stint there, right?
Yeah, he had a stint in Minnesota. It was where he was pretty good. Him and K Love for a season, but yeah, had some off-court issues and stuff.
And have you been following along with his Big Three career as well?
Yes,
Post
very
NBA?
much so. Big
How
three.
have you been?
MVP last season, Big Three, averaged 27 and 10.
Damn.
Yeah, he's still a bucket, even now at the ripe old age of like 35. So he's been cooking in the Big Three. Shout out Ice Cube, one of the more entertaining leagues that's come out for all the ex-players and such.
What do you think about his offer to Caitlin Clark, actually, on that note?
What
To
is
join
Ice
the,
Cube's
Ice Cube
offer to Caitlin Clark.
to
I don't know
join
if you
the
saw
Big
it. It was a couple mil, just after
Yeah.
her stint at Iowa.
Oh, she would cook.
She
Would cook in that league. Like, she wouldn't be like the best player, but she'd definitely do well.
Straight
against-
bucket getter.
Yeah,
She's
she's a bucket.
ridiculously
She's
good.
going to be a lot faster than a lot of those old NBA guards as well.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of old former pros that play in that still.
Yeah,
like,
it's
that
mostly,
honestly just
it's mostly pros.
Well, it's a half court league, so they don't need the stamina
Yeah.
like, to go up and down. So they
And
just
it's
kind
you
of
can
get
check up
buckets.
after all the made baskets. It's not like FIBA 3-on-3 where you're
Yeah, it's
like
completely
running in and out. So yeah, it's
She would cook from that. They have a 4-point dot A on the
4-point
wings.
spot. Yeah,
She
you just have
would.
to have like 1 foot on it.
Yep, she'd be cooking in that
Yeah.
too. That's a good league. That's a
Yeah,
really
it's
good.
good.
It's a
It's a
shame
good watch.
it doesn't really get the coverage it needs. Like, I feel
Nah.
like in New Zealand, I have no idea where to watch it.
Yeah, I tried to watch the final because Beasley's team was in the final. I was really trying to watch it, but couldn't find anywhere. So any New Zealand companies watching, you want to pick up the big three, the rights.
But anyway, we've
Sky
got
Sport.
a
Fans here.
cool little segment to do. Knowing that, what's your claim first of all with Michael Beasley? You have a very hot take here. I want to hear it live on the podcast.
I think Michael Beasley is the best, or if not one of the best 1v1 players of all time. That's my take.
That's a crazy
Okay,
take.
so me and Finn are going to go back and forth and give you a different player, current or past,
Yeah.
and you're going to tell us if you think Michael Beasley would beat them in a 1v1 and how and why.
Okay.
And is this also, just to clarify, what sort of 1v1 are we talking about?
So like, first to 11, maybe a little series, a few games, like maybe 7-game series.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
We had like these two prime guys, put them 7 games against each other. Who would win more first to 11 games?
Is it infinite dribbles?
We'll go 4 dribbles.
4 dribbles?
Nah,
One
we'll go
shot?
unlimited. We'll go unlimited
Unlimited?
because
One
there's
shot?
some guys that they need to get to the post and
Yeah.
stuff.
One shot as well?
Yeah, 1 shot.
Okay.
Ones and twos?
okay.
1s, 2s. Yeah.
1s and 2s, first to 11, 7-game series. Michael Beasley against some of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw one out here. Michael Jordan.
Off the get.
Beasley
No.
in 5.
5.
Beasley
5
in
or 6. I think MJ. This is a very hot take here, but bit of a overrated scorer for his era.
Okay.
Not really 3 level. You can kind of give him some space.
On the 3, yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of give him some space. And he's what, 6'6", 200 pounds?
Mm.
If he's a shooting guard in this area, you got to be like 6'6", 6'7", you got to be like 220. Like he's the same size as like what, a Jalen Green?
A bit bigger than Jalen Green.
Bigger than
I'd say.
Jalen
Bit
Green, but
stronger.
like yeah. No, I think Beasley would just he's 6'10". You know, he gets to the post. I think it would be a rough night for MJ.
Okay, on that note, same sort of build, shooting guard. A little bit more of a modern game style though.
I know who you're gonna say.
Kobe Bean Bryant.
Yeah,
This is a close one.
I think Kobe takes it
Yeah.
for sure. I think Kobe's definitely my probably most skilled player. Him or Kyrie, most skilled player of all time.
Mm.
Yeah, he's got that size. You know, he's got the defense. Where he's 2-way guy. Him and KD definitely the 2 best scorers in my opinion.
Is that
in
one
the
going
league.
7?
Nah, I think prime Kobe's taking him in like 5 games. Beasley will
Okay.
get 1, I'd say.
All right, well, I'm going to throw out a current player, just won an NBA championship. Jason Tatum. I think this would be a really good matchup.
So Michael Beasley versus a role player. That's what we're saying
Okay,
here.
crazy.
No, but I like JT's game, but I think similar height. I've never really seen Michael Beasley miss a shot, so
Wow.
I don't think Jason Tatum could get a stop on him. And if he does, I feel like Beasley will get a stop on him to get the ball back.
Yeah,
so.
because Michael Beasley's shot-making ability is pretty ridiculous.
No, like I say a lot of stuff about Michael Beasley, but if you actually watch him and like see his game, he's actually like he's a bucket. So
Yeah, that's fair.
if he gets to the mid range like that elbow, he's hitting it. Left
Yeah.
hand, it's pretty hard to guard a lefty in the first place. So I'd
That's
say
true.
Beasley takes that.
Okay. Well, it wouldn't be a 1v1 little segment without me mentioning my favorite player of all time. You know, you've mentioned one of your favorites.
Yeah.
I got to get my guy in there as well. How far does the series against the man Damian Lillard go?
I'd say due to just height differences, unfortunate height differences. Dame being what, 6'2",
6'3".
6'3" in shoes.
Barely.
Beasley 7 inches taller, a lot heavier. I'd say Beasley's gonna take him
Sweep
down.
him.
Like if you have to win this 1-on-1 game, like you need to win this, Beasley's just gonna post him up.
So in 4?
Honestly, yeah, I'd say.
I agree.
Okay,
I
well,
just had to put it out there.
If we're throwing out favorite
I
players,
love Dame's
then,
game though.
if we're throwing out favorite players, then
Yeah,
I won't go Paul George. So
Really?
he's my current favorite player of all time.
yeah.
But I think I know who would win this. But my favorite NBA player of all time is Blake Griffin, for obvious reasons, being a Clippers fan. I'm going to throw you Blake Griffin, but not the Clippers version of Blake Griffin.
Oh,
We're going Detroit Pistons,
Pistons, okay.
All-Star game Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
50 points game in a season, Blake Griffin.
No,
Off
it
dribble
was a-
3, Blake
It was a
Griffin.
great Blake Griffin season.
Very skilled Blake Griffin season.
Yeah.
I still think I know where you're going with this one, but I thought I'd throw it at you anyway.
No, Blake was a bucket for sure. Then, like he was dribbling, he was passing, he was in his guard bag. Like there wasn't many guards on the Pistons, so he had to kind of do everything. But I think Beasley takes it just off like pure scoring ability, better shooter and stuff, better ISO scorer. But the respect to that Blake Griffin 2019 season,
It's a great year.
great year.
Almost,
Not a great year for Clippers fans.
Well, no.
To see him flourish like that.
Yeah, it
But,
was really upsetting. Really showed the potential. I remember that season was upsetting because I love Blake Griffin that year, and the Pistons made the 8th seed. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if you guys remember this series. I can't remember who they were playing.
I think it was like the Bucks or something.
It was a good team.
Yeah.
Blake Griffin played on one knee,
Yeah,
and they
that-
still took a game or two.
He
And
played on less than one knee. It kind of
it
messed
was
him up.
bandaged up. I think that might have been the downfall of his career.
Yeah.
Like he was still decently healthy going into that
He
year.
missed the whole next year, no?
Yeah, he did. Basically missed the whole next year, and then
Yeah, he put
forced
his-
his way out of Detroit.
Put his
Not long
heart and
after.
soul into that series.
Can't believe he did that
Unfortunately.
for a city that probably didn't.
Detroit. Yeah,
Can't
of all
believe it.
places.
Him and Andre Drummond. Drummond was pretty good back then too, but
Yeah, double-double.
crazy that Blake Griffin did that.
Well,
Respect to Blake.
I'll chuck one more out there. I don't think we'd be able to do this 1v1 thing without mentioning a big man. How would Beasley do against a massive 7-footer? And the one that I'm going to throw at you is none other than Shaquille O'Neal.
Ah, okay, yeah.
What's happening in that one? How's he
I
stopping
think
Shaq?
unlimited dribbles. There's not many people that are gonna stop Shaq.
No way.
One like.
Well, he's probably the most dominant player of all time,
Yeah, what
potentially.
did he
So
weigh? Like 400 pounds, you said?
yeah, I know. And
He's
he
just
could
gonna
still
back.
move.
He's backing everyone down.
He
He's
could still
fast,
move,
yeah.
and he could still jump. I couldn't.
Backing you down, dunking on you. Yeah, I don't think.
Is it a
many people-
4-0?
If you're going like limited dribbles, like
Beasley gets the ball first.
I mean Shaq's. I don't know. That's a hard one.
Well, the thing is,
It depends. If there's a lot of like variables, like you're gonna miss a jump shot at some point. If he misses a jump shot, Shaq gets the ball. It's gonna be pretty hard to get it off Shaq.
the thing with this 1v1, Shaq. There's no way they're letting Shaq start with the ball top of the key, because like how on earth does he get to a spot on 4 dribbles?
No, yeah, in a limited dribble situation, I think
Beasley wins.
It would be a lot closer. But
Because
if you can just let him dribble down to a spot, post you up, do what he wants.
Could Beasley not maybe like pull the chair on him or go for a little steal around the front of Shaq?
Shaq's too
wasn't,
good.
Shaq wasn't just like massive. Like, he had a post game. Like his
He's
post
very
game's great.
good.
Post hook, little fadeaway. Like
I still think a prime Shaq would be so good in modern NBA.
oh, bro, it
like,
doesn't matter.
So
It doesn't
good.
matter if you can't shoot threes when you're that.
Doesn't
big and
matter
that
what
strong.
area you're in.
It doesn't
Like
matter.
he would still dominate. Because what center in the NBA currently is stopping Shaquille O'Neal in the post? There's not a single one.
Donovan
No
Clingan.
And we're moving on. We're moving on. Kling
Elite shot back. Elite shot
I
blocker.
don't think Donovan Clingan gets a single stop on Shaquille O'Neal in a 1v1. If they're
Same
starting
height.
on the block. If they're starting on the block,
7 footers. Shaq's 7'2". I thought he was 7 foot.
I think he's.
he's also 400 pounds. I don't think Donovan Clingan gets a single stop on Shaq on a starting on the block.
Maybe
on
yeah,
the
like
one.
a big
There's
post
no
up.
way. There's
What
no
about
way.
Embiid? Similar weight.
Maybe.
Embiid would give Shaq some buckets.
Oh, he would
sure.
give him
He
buckets.
would drag him out there. He's strong enough to bang with him in the post.
Can shoot threes.
Yeah,
Mid range.
but
Defensively,
I, feel
I don't
like Shaq
know.
would break his knees in the post.
Well, they're already
He would
basically
do a- he would do a
broken.
drop seven.
I
and
think
Embiid
he's
would
already
get
suffering
this.
from knee inflammation this year.
Yeah.
So
Praise
shout
all
out
the
Joel
Sixers
Embiid.
fans out
Oh
there.
my god, if you're a Sixers fan, I'm so sorry. Brandon James is a Sixers
And
fan.
James' brother.
My
I'm
brother.
so
My
sorry.
brother is a Sixers
sorry
fan.
for
I'm
your
so
loss,
sorry,
mate.
bro. We gave you Paul George, biggest $212 million mistake ever.
Paul George is
That's
washed.
that's a little topic that I kind of want to talk about as well. Just like going into it as a Clippers fan.
Mm.
I know you're not riding for Paul George like you were on the Clippers. But
Still am. I still love him,
he's
obviously.
still one of your players. But do you think Paul George maybe on a little Tobias Harris route?
Ooh.
Oh
Sixers.
yeah.
You think it's gonna end up like?
I think it's going to happen. So he's 34 years old, right?
Yeah.
Paul George. The reason we weren't going to give him a max 4-year contract, obvious reasons. By the time his contract is finished, he's 38 years old. He's still making what, $50 million a year
At 38.
at 38.
Yeah.
With his injuries and his efficiency definitely going to drop, and his athletic ability by the time he's 38, I see why the Clippers didn't sign him. And look what's happened. We're still the 5th seed in the West without one Kawhi Leonard, who hasn't played a single game this year.
Yeah.
Paul George has gone, as much as I loved him, as much as he put his heart and soul into our organization for, however many years. He was, I think, 4 years. For him leaving, I think it was honestly, now that I'm looking at it now, probably a positive move. Unless we got him for about 3 years.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely been better. I think he was asking for way too much for what he was worth. So we let him walk, and honestly, we're probably doing better than him.
Oh, yeah. You are.
Yeah.
That Sixers are what, 2-12?
So, yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. They're not doing well. So, pretty happy that Paul...
And he's on his podcast talking about, we had a players-only meeting the other day. What's that about?
Mate.
That was crazy.
Tyrese Maxey calling
He's
out
valuing
Joel
the
Embiid,
he's valuing the
wasn't he?
clips over the games, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Crazy shit. So, kind of happy that we let Paul George walk, to be honest.
The podcast
Which,
was getting in the way.
you hate to see it, because we could have won a chip.
Oh,
Not maybe
calm
now.
down.
Especially, I don't think Paul George knew Kawhi Leonard's knee wasn't going to
I
work
think
this
you
year
guys
either.
had your best chance in 2020.
I think the best chance we had was 2021. I mean,
Like Kawhi, it was a pretty
bubble
injured
year,
West.
we definitely could have won.
was a rough
The
series.
following year, when we made the conference finals against the Suns,
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard doesn't tear his ACL in that Jazz series. I think we beat them because we
That's
took
a
them to
good
6
point.
games.
I don't think you'd take the Bucks.
I
but
don't know about the
A
Bucks.
finals appearance would have been nice for.
Yeah, I think it would
Nice for the
have
franchise.
almost the whole future for Paul George trade almost would have been worth it.
And now you have no future for the next 10 years.
Yeah, look, we waived Brandon
No, they
Boston.
Yeah, no future.
We waived Brandon Boston Jr. and now he's flourishing on the Pelicans with with their whole team depleted. So
Who's
Yeah.
your best young player?
we don't have a young player.
Give me a coffee.
He's not that young.
How old is he? 27.
Probably.
God,
Well, I
probably
thought
the youngest
I thought Terrence Mann was young. He's 27.
Yeah, he's pretty. old.
So the only player that might have a future for us is Jordan Miller. He's been coming through a little bit,
Jordan Miller.
and that's crazy to say. Look, Bones Highland doesn't even get minutes for us.
You need to let him go. You need to.
I think
When Harden inevitably goes down, not preying on any injuries, but when he starts to need a break, I think you let Bones get
we have
busy.
KPJ as our backup point guard.
That's just you just got a worse version of Harden there. I think you need someone like Bones. I think you need to give Bones some just guard minutes off the bench. Just let him come in and
thought
cook
so
like
too,
Lou Will.
But I think, well, we would. I think that'd be a great idea. But defensively,
Ty Lue,
he's a
yeah. No,
liability.
yeah, he is.
Mate.
He is tiny.
He's a liability
He's
on
very
defense.
small.
He's not Lou Will. Lou Will's a clear scorer from Bones Highland.
Yeah, you do need to let Bones get busy at some point though.
He was
I
a little
like
bit.
Bones.
He was a little bit, but we just don't give him opportunities, which I'm not really that sad about. We're doing
Clippers
all right.
Clippers are pretty interesting at the start of this year. but-
Weird. I don't know. Had zero expectations for us going into this year, and the fact we're somehow sitting in the 5th seed, 10-7, holding the Kings to 88 points in our last matchup. Defensively, we're incredibly good, but offensive is
Different story.
a different story.
Yeah, well, don't get your hopes up because it's definitely not lasting the whole season. I think the Clippers will be lucky to be in the play-in if we're being real here.
Yeah. Well, what about those Blazers, Will? What
Well,
about those Blazers?
We're on a bit of a
Will?
roll, actually. Funny you mention
yeah.
it.
Just lose to the Rockets yesterday.
We lost to the Rockets yesterday,
Lost
but
to the third.
before
Yeah,
that,
fair.
we had a very close game with OKC. We beat the Atlanta Hawks, and we'd won 2 games in a row against the Minnesota Timberwolves,
That's fair.
which I
Yeah,
think
you
were
did-
massive
you did,
wins for us, especially seeing Shaden Sharp back. That's made my life a little bit happier with Shaden back.
He's
But
had a
enough,
few good games.
enough talk about the Clippers and the Blazers, Finn.
Apologies.
Let's get into what we're really here for. NBA news. First of all, let's start off with Adam. Can you break down your favorite team's current title hopes?
So
Conference finals appearances we'll go with.
Let's talk about the Lakers for a
I think
bit.
just the
Just
Lakers.
teams in general. Yeah, we'll start with your team that you support, being
Yeah.
a LeBron fan.
Yeah.
The Lakers.
I
You've had
support
some
the LeBron James Lakers.
the LeBron James Lakers.
LeBron
Sure,
James
we'll go with that. Obviously, the bubble chip, huge year for you as a fan.
God, that was fun.
Since then, the Lakers haven't been great.
We've been iffy.
I think that's an
mean,
understatement.
Yeah, we had 2021. I think
Horrible
we definitely
year.
had a no. We were all right in 2021. We had a chance to go back to back. We played that Suns team in the first round. AD was injured.
Which is the year you missed the playoffs by like a lot.
2022.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
when
that was
LeBron
the
got
first
injured?
Russ. That was the first Russ trade. Yeah.
Oh, Russ was
Um,
bad on you guys' team.
Yeah, wasn't a big fan of Russ on the Lakers. But yeah, we've had some LeBron injuries after that 2020 year. The Solomon Hill diving into his ankle definitely didn't set us up very well for the next couple of years. But then we had the Darvin Ham era.
We all know
Let's
about
get
that
into
era.
that.
Let's not. So I'm
No,
gonna
we
get
can.
PTSD.
What do you want to talk about with Darvin
The
Ham?
single worst coach in not NBA, probably basketball history.
Holy.
I'd say my dad, who's never really played basketball in his life and coached me in like primary school, was a better coach than Darvin Ham was for the Lakers. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I think he had no business coaching an NBA team as a head coach, especially not the biggest franchise and like the face of the league in LeBron James. I think it's
Yeah.
just too much media attention. If he was coaching someone like I don't know, the Nets, and it went under the radar, like, he would have been,
he would have kept his job probably.
Yeah, well, if he didn't, he would have just been less scrutinized. But
Yeah.
And how would you compare him to your new current coach, none other than former NBA player, sharpshooter, JJ Redick?
big fan of JJ this year. You can already tell just from his his time as a analyst, he's better basketball mind than Darvin Ham. His podcast with LeBron, I watched a bit of it, like the breakdowns and how they watch the game. It's just, you can tell they love basketball, they love the game, like all the intricacies of it. He's a great play caller, great ATO. He locks himself down. He watches film a lot. You can tell Darvin didn't do that when you saw him in the timeout, just writing close out without fouling on the clipboard and showing it to the guys. Yeah, go hard on the boys. Like, he was just saying stuff in the timeouts.
And it's kind
JJ, at least he's got some structure, and the team respects him a bit more, I think.
And it's kind of showing with how you guys are doing this season compared to the last few years with Darvin Ham.
Yeah, definitely some wins that we should have picked up against the Magic yesterday or the other day. That was unfortunate, to say the least.
Franz Wagner did hit a crazy shot.
Franz was getting buckets in the fourth. But, I hope JJ was making them boys do some free throws for about a couple hours in practice the next day, because that's definitely the reason we lost. But, yeah, other than that, we were hoping to go 11-5, 11-4, 10-5 now. But
it's not a bad record.
I think we're in a good spot. I think if we maybe have a couple moves, maybe move Gabe Vincent, get him off my team.
3 Tony Snell stat lines on the season so far for Gabe Vincent.
Dalton Connect has more points in a Lakers uniform than Gabe Vincent does.
Crazy.
And, I think if we just find our groove, find our lineups, maybe move for a little Rob Williams if you guys are willing to let him go.
Yeah, it'd be a good pickup.
Not Rob Will. We'll give you Jeremy Grant.
Jeremy Grant, have
Danny
him.
Avdia.
No, not him. But we'll see how it goes.
I'll throw this question out at you then. Being LeBron James's number 1 fan in the country, probably.
I hope so.
Bronny. What are your thoughts on Bronny? Do you think he deserves to be in the NBA?
I think that seeing as Bronny was supposed to be a top 20 pick
Before
he went to college, before the cardiac incident, he was projected to be a good NBA player. Like, when you have an incident like that at that age, like while you're training to play in the NBA, it's going to set you back quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it has. I think based off just his college play, you wouldn't say he's worthy of playing the NBA, but he's the 55th pick. Like, how many 55th picks have been
None.
contributing in the NBA? There's been a couple. Like,
Barely any.
you're not wasting a pick. And the moment was incredible. Like, LeBron playing with his son. The Lakers, as bad as they are at developing young talent, they're probably going to put some effort into him because it's LeBron James' son. And, I think he'll start finding his groove in the G League. Definitely not ready to contribute in the next couple of years, but I think it was a good pick.
I think he's arguably already better than Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, I put him in over Gabe.
Yeah.
Quincy Oliveri, also, I'd like to say, put him in over Gabe.
He's really
dropping
good.
30
Yeah,
pieces
he's
in the
tough.
G League.
He's really
left and
good.
right. I wish JJ would give him that backup point guard
So
spot,
do you
but-
think Bronny's 4-year guaranteed deal is worth it?
You just got to see how he plays, see how he pans out. Hopefully he can get back to that burst he had before. Because, if you look at some of his high school highlights, he was dunking on people left and right.
That French select team dunk he
That was
had
crazy on Sierra
before.
Canyon,
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
No, he's
was 17
athletic,
back
he's
then.
quick, good passer, obviously,
Great defender.
good IQ. Yeah, if he gets a shot down, he'll be a serviceable role player for sure. But I think the 4 years is a good time to see if he's gonna develop into that, and if not,
He'll
maybe-
always play pro. If he's not in the NBA,
he'll probably go. He didn't even need to play in the NBA realistically.
No.
Like,
You
he was
never know.
famous enough.
We might see Bronny James on the shores of the NBL at one point.
I'd love to see him in a Breakers uniform.
That could
Who
happen.
knows?
You never
I'd
know.
love to see him.
If his career in the NBA doesn't pan out and he decides to not want to play in the G League, there's a genuine chance we could see him. Because money is not an issue for him. Obviously, being in LeBron James' son, we could see him in the NBL. We could see him in Europe. We could see him anywhere, which I think would be
He could
really
continue
cool.
Parker Jackson Cartwright's legacy.
He could.
Who
He
knows?
could be an NBL MVP.
And imagine if the Breakers signed a fucking player like that.
Yeah.
The markability on Bronny James Jr. would be.
LeBron might be at Spark Arena for some of the games.
He definitely would be. LeBron will be retired by then.
Yeah.
Well, you'd think so.
Actually,
Hold on. I want to get that into you as well. LeBron turns 40 on the 31st of December this year.
30th.
30th. My apologies. I thought it was New Year's Eve. How many more years
How
much more?
years
How much
will
more?
he go? Or could he go?
How many more years of bullshit do we have? Because you know who?
fuckery is continued.
Remember the tweet?
Yeah, the
remember the
fuckery
tweet?
continued.
LeBron's turning 32 this year. We're not going to see this for much longer. LeBron's turning 40, and he's still dropping 30-point triple doubles in today's NBA.
I think that tweet made him want to do what he's doing now.
has to.
22nd year, like, what is he averaging? 24, 10, and 8. It's like pretty ridiculous.
Crazy.
He's still an all-star.
He's the best. He's arguably the best passer in the league. Him and Jokic are just up there, just picking teams apart with passing. He can get to the rim pretty much at will.
Still dunking on people.
Still dunking on
Jonathan Isaac, a great defensive player,
Yeah.
just booming on him.
I think realistically, you could keep him on a roster until he's about 50, and he could put up 10, 5, and 5.
Far out.
I think he could put up 10, 5, and 5 at 50.
Yeah, I honestly don't think
and that would
LeBron's
contribute.
body will never stop him from playing NBA basketball.
Yeah.
I think it's his mindset and whether he
I
can
don't
be
think he
bothered.
wants to
I don't think he
after-
can be
yeah. I
bothered
think he's
playing
maybe
basketball anymore.
Maybe I think he'll have 1 year after this for sure. Like this season and one more, maybe 2. Like he might get to year 24, but like, that's a stretch.
Do you think he stays in the Lakers? His contract's up this year, is it not?
Yeah, not this year. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Could he
Okay.
end it out in Cleveland?
That would be.
There's a
So
chance.
potential-
Or Miami?
with Bryce.
No, Bryce.
No.
We're not
Bryce
talking
and
about
Bronny?
Bryce. Bryce is bad.
Bryce has got a shot. I reckon Bryce. Is
Where do you currently think LeBron still ranks as a player in this league? Top 5?
top 5 for sure.
That's.
Top 3?
It's not even a hot take either. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think as much as I dislike the Nuggets and Jokic for knocking us out a couple years in a row, I think Jokic, you can go to him number 1. Yeah,
He's having a career year as well, which is ridiculous.
I was a big Luka guy last year. Thought he should have got MVP, but I think I'd probably slide LeBron over Luka
This
year.
season,
LeBron at number
Luka,
3.
yeah.
At third, yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then, yeah, it's Luka or Steph rounding out that top.
Is
5.
LeBron still the best player on his team?
AD has
Or is it-
been.
yeah.
AD has done finally what he's supposed to do. He's picked up the slack. He's playing like a monster. I think LeBron still runs the show as the kind of point guard over there, especially with D'Lo as our actual point guard.
Oh, yeah.
But,
On the bench now.
AD has been playing like a top 3 player this year, but I think if you just take it as a playoff series, give me one guy, give me like 3 guys that I'd rather have to win a series for me on their own. I want LeBron as
I
over
think
AD.
LeBron's kind of like letting AD be the best
Yeah,
player on
I
the
think
team.
he
this
wanted
year.
him to a while ago.
Well,
Yeah.
LeBron
If
doesn't-
he wanted to, then LeBron
Yeah.
would like be going out
It's
there
just if
and
AD's
dropping
healthy
30
and
points a game.
yeah, his shots back this year. Well, I don't want to jinx it, but shots been back recently, shooting about 40 from 3. So with AD shooting like that and him being healthy, I don't think anyone's gonna really stop him.
I don't
And I
think-
hope he gets MVP.
I don't think LeBron wants to be the number 1
No,
guy
I,
anymore.
mean,
He's
I don't think he's
39.
wanted to be since 2020. I think that 2020 was when he got the Finals MVP with AD, got AD's chip, and he wanted to go, okay, now you carry me to
Here's
Your
the
team,
reins,
AD.
Yeah.
but he couldn't do it because AD turned into glass for a few years.
I don't know.
He's back now though, and he's
Yeah.
top 3 in MVP race at the moment.
Yeah.
And
So
Will picked him in fantasy.
number 3 at the time, all of you guys
We
were
laughed.
shitting on me
We
for that
Great
one.
laughed.
pick, really, really good pick.
Very
Now you
good
look at
pick. But something that Finn and I have done here on previous episodes, Adam, is we've gone through our award picks for the NBA season, and we'd like to do it with you.
Yeah.
If you could just go through quickly and list off who do you have for. We'll start with MVP.
I haven't really thought about this properly.
This is fresh.
MVP this season.
So far,
You've got a little bit of a head start on us as well, so you've
Well,
we
already
did
got
it before
some.
the season
Yeah, you
started.
did.
You got some games to go based off of.
I think the MVP will be either because it's 82 game season. What we've played 15 games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
about
there's
that.
a lot of things that could happen.
Injuries.
I don't think
trades.
Jokic wins it. I don't think the Nuggets will be good enough.
I don't think-
I really hope he doesn't.
I don't think the NBA can give him another one.
Yeah.
Like,
if
he's got voters fatigue. Has to.
As a LeBron fan, if voter fatigue exists like it did back when LeBron was getting MVPs, then I don't think he should get another one. But I think AD would be my pick for MVP right now. But I think a very reasonable shout is Shea as well.
Okay.
Thunder are pretty unstoppable, especially in the regular season, and he's going to put up his 31, 6 and 6, isn't he? Like,
Yeah,
he's
every
going to
game.
get that every night.
What about Jay? One of my takes was Jason Tatum could be going for
Yeah.
it this year as well.
He was definitely going for it at the start.
Oh yeah.
40 pieces everywhere. But I don't know. There's just too much talent on the Celtics for him to shine
Yeah.
as MVP. You know, like
Yeah.
they're not gonna. Jalen Brown's not gonna defer like LeBron and say he's not gonna be like, here, go get the MVP. Like he wants it as well.
And as you said, he's a bit of a role player.
Yeah. We talk about Jesse
He's the
earlier.
best player on their team.
Yeah,
But
he's
anyway.
the best player on the team.
Who do you
Okay.
have for Rookie of the Year? What young guys impress you?
Before the season,
We got hoed because we did this before the season
Yeah,
started.
it's-
Like
rookie
Will
is a-
with
it's a wild
Reed
one.
Shepherd, that didn't seem like a bad pick
It
with how he good was in the how good he was in the summer league. The Rockets is too stacked. Mine was Zach Edey, who's probably can still be in the race. going forward.
he's still there.
But who would
my,
you pick?
My preseason pick was Matas from the Bulls.
Ooh.
He's been
Zealous.
really average.
He's been average.
He's in
The
the
Bulls
G
have been
League now,
average. I think they dip
Bounces
him
around.
he goes to the G League sometimes. But that was my preseason pick because I liked his game coming out of G League Ignite. He's Swiss Army knife, long, can shoot it, can
Yeah.
defend.
athletic.
Yeah, I thought he would impact the Bulls, but they give him a big role because he's from Chicago. But
Yeah, local.
I think now I'm gonna go my guy
Dalton.
Connect for
I don't hate
for
it. I
Rookie of the
really
Year.
don't.
I think it's really
don't.
between him and Jared McCain.
I think
at
those
this
are the
point.
Jared
Dalton.
McCain
Yeah.
is okay. So
It's dependent on role. Jared McCain's gonna have a bigger role throughout the season.
He's going to average more points.
even
I
with
think.
Maxey being healthy, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously
Who's there too?
They played alongside each other last game, and Jared McCain still had a 30 piece.
Well, it's him or Eric Gordon. Who would you rather have? At the
Jared
shooting guard?
McCain
Yeah, exactly.
playing some exceptionally good
Like
basketball.
Dalton's going to be playing behind Rui at the 3, LeBron at the 3, Austin if he plays the 2. Like depending on what JJ does with our lineup, Dalton I think could start the rest of the season, but I doubt he will. I think he'll be going in and out of lineups.
Yeah.
So I
don't
think
hate
Jared McCain is probably a more likely pick.
Is Dalton
I would love to see
Dalton
Dalton.
Connect's probably the best shooter in the draft.
I'd say
He's
Yeah.
probably already one of the best shooters in the NBA.
9 threes. Shot what are you?
Yeah.
9 for 12.
Yeah.
The other night.
Imagine having your head coach as one of the best 3-point shooters of all
Yeah.
time as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Can't believe they
perfect.
let JJ
It's
get.
perfect.
Yeah.
And he fell what?
17.
17?
And McCain was one before him as well.
Yeah,
16.
so and Dalton was one of the best scorers in college, in my personal opinion.
He was.
Was he on Tennessee?
20 something games.
Tennessee or
Yeah,
Texas? Yeah, Tennessee.
A couple years
One of
there
the
as well,
best.
so he was polished.
One of the best. Yeah, and he came out league ready.
Yeah.
Which is something that I think is very underrated. Like obviously you want to pick young to
Yeah.
develop early, but some of these players that have long college careers, they come out really league ready. Dalton Connect seems to be one of those guys already.
Prime example.
Moving on, another award. What would you say for Depoy so far this season?
Okay.
It's my guy Webby.
You go Wemby?
Wemby, still Wemby.
Fair enough.
My-
Not
AD is AD almost there?
I think Lakers are a pretty good defensive team. He definitely raises their ceiling a lot. Like we're nowhere near top half of the league defensive team without him. But I think you can't really deny the stats Wemby's putting up. I think he's averaging 3.7 at the time of recording blocks. Again,
Crazy.
and the next highest
That's a
is like 2.
What about, I'll throw a name out there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of emerged on the scene this year. I think Pelicans fans are a little bit upset that they let him go. Dyson Daniels on the
Very
Hawks,
good.
leading the league in steals per game.
He's gonna.
It's very
what do
hard,
you
I
think
think,
on
for a
that?
guard to win defensive
Well,
player of the
Marcus
year,
Smart did it.
especially when there's someone like Wemby in contention.
Yeah.
I think when Marcus Smart did it, there wasn't really someone like that was
No.
dominating on the defensive end as a big. And room protection, I think, is the most important defensive attribute.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think
stopping guys at the rim.
I've seen some crazy stat that Dyson Daniels is going to destroy the deflection record this
Oh, if
year.
he keeps on,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like
yeah, he's
double,
and what-
double what it
800
was.
he's on
Yeah,
pace for or
it's
something?
absolutely
It's silly.
insane.
What if he averages like 4 steals per game? Would that
Which is
seriously
possible.
put him in contention? Because that right now I think he's at 3.6.
He's at 3 point something.
He's
yeah.
very good.
I mean, that would definitely put him in contention, yeah. I think Wemby's going to get his fair share of depoys throughout his career. If Dyson has a year like that, you can't really say it. I mean, it also depends where the Hawks are, though, defensively.
Yeah,
You've got to
that's a
look at
good
team
point.
defense as well. Wemby's anchoring that Spurs defense.
Mm.
It's not a crazy defense, but he's putting up stats like that. He'll probably have a couple quadruple doubles, 5x5s this year.
Yeah.
I think he's going to average a 5x5, like Finn said in one of the podcasts.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I don't know why I threw that out.
But
A couple of quadruple doubles, he said.
I think he'll get a. He had.
So it's 2 or more.
He's been pretty close.
2 or
Yeah.
more, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
What about 6 man of the year for you? Obviously, that's a bit of a harder because some of these bench players are starting
Yeah.
now. Like
Everyone's-
I had
everyone's
Norman
in and out of
Powell. I had
lineups.
Norman Powell being my 6 man of the year, but with no Kawhi,
Mm.
he's been starting the whole season. So 6 man's pretty hard.
I think JC. Jordan Clarkson.
Jordan Clarkson, yeah.
I think because it doesn't matter how injured or how average the Jazz guards are playing. He wants to come off that bench. He wants.
He likes doing it. He's like Lou
that's
Williams.
his role now.
He's
Yeah.
like Lou Williams. He
So,
loved coming off the bench. Didn't matter.
Yeah. He'll come off. He'll get his buckets. He's a great creator in general. I think if there's no one else that's really standing out, I feel like it could go to him almost every year.
Yeah,
and
fair
we'll
enough.
finish it out with who do you have for most improved player?
Yeah. There's a couple players in here that I think Norman Powell's
Norman
one.
Powell's up there for you.
Some white boy in Toronto.
Don't let
Grady
yourself
Dick.
be influenced by fans.
Some boy in
Fantasy
Toronto.
pickup.
Some
I
boy
don't
in
know.
Toronto.
He's a sophomore though. I don't really like the sophomores getting
That
MIP
often happens
thing.
though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just like you're obviously going to make a jump going from your rookie year to your sophomore year. Like, it's a good jump.
His jump's very good.
Yeah, he's what? It's like 8 points
Yeah.
on his scoring. But I don't know. I haven't really thought much. Have you guys? Who's your picks early?
I think I went with Bilal Koulibaly, I think.
I can't
I think
remember
he
who mine
stepped up a
was. Mine was I had Alprin Sengun, but he hasn't
no.
really.
Yeah,
he
I
hasn't
would have
had,
thought.
He hasn't had the year I thought he would have so far. I
He's
just
been
think
great defensively.
defense. Yeah, but I just think the rest of the Rockets team has been quite good this year. Like Jalen Green's having a decent year. Fred
Yeah.
VanVleet's playing pretty good basketball.
As much as I hate him,
Amin Thompson's been playing some good hoops as well. Like Alprin Sengun just doesn't get
Tari
the touches.
Eason.
Tari Eason's
I'm
come
going
back
to
playing really
disagree
well.
with you on that. I don't think the Rockets have been having the best. Obviously, the record
The
shows
third seed.
that they're playing well, but I think they're going to fall apart.
Oh yeah, I don't
think-
see them holding the
No,
top 4
Rockets-
seed, top 6 seed.
I think they'll be lucky to be in the play-in still.
I don't think lucky. I
I'm
think
really
they'll make
not
the
high
play.
on
You
the
know, last
Rockets.
year they were 41 and 41.
They were 500
last year.
I don't
I think
think.
they're going to be better than 500, and that'll
Yeah.
get them in the play-in.
Well, it all comes
the
down
West,
to
though?
injuries and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be like negative teams that make the play-in in the West at some point.
Okay.
Like not make the play-in, but like the top 10. You know.
I just
Yeah.
think people are a little bit too high on the Rockets at the moment.
Maybe.
And I think they're.
I think experience is
Yeah.
gonna hold them back a little bit.
Yeah,
Draft
no,
dog.
definitely a young team. But if Sengun keeps playing like that defensively, keeps putting that effort, and his numbers take a jump, you know, someone might get injured and he might have to play make more, or he might have to score a bit more. He could definitely get MIP.
All right, we'll
I don't have
round
a lock for that.
we'll round this off then. Conference finals teams, East and West. We'll start with the Eastern Conference. I think this one might be more obvious than we think.
You think Celtics Cavs?
I think it's Celtics Cavs. I think the Cavs are
disagree.
really, really good.
I disagree. I'm going Celtics Bucks.
Bucks.
I think the Bucks.
Interesting.
They'll obviously
Gary
had
Trent
a-
Jr. starts for them, by the way.
Gary
Darvin
Trent
Ham
Jr.
on their
has
coaching
actually he's turned it up a little bit.
Okay.
He has.
Darvin Ham and Doc Rivers are their coaching staff.
Doc Rivers.
They blow a
keep him
three-
quiet.
They blow a 3-1
Ben-
lead. They blow a 3-1 lead.
Silent for a second, buddy. The Bucks. They've turned it around. They started off rough, but they're now on a little bit of a hot streak.
3 games.
I think 3-game win streak, but I think it's 6 for 7 overall. And I think they're just slowly figuring it out. Once Chris Middleton comes back as well,
That's a good point.
I think they're going to go on a bit of a run, and I think they could prove to be a bit too strong for the Cleveland Cavaliers if they were to face them in the conference semis with that star power.
yeah, I
Damian
would
Young.
say
We
in a
all have
series.
the Celtics, right?
Yeah.
We all have the Celtics.
We all have the
Celtics are
Celtics.
gonna be there. But I think in a series you can't really doubt Giannis. He's kind of like
that's a good point.
he reminds me of like our 09 LeBron.
Yeah.
Like the way he just just
Yeah.
dominates inside. Like
I mean, he
I
had a
don't think-
59-point game the other day.
yeah, the Cav he's under the radar as well. I feel like he's becoming underrated with how dominant he averaged 30 on 60% last year. And no one
Yeah,
really talked
no one
about it. And he's
cared.
gonna do it again this year.
And
probably.
defensively, he's still really
He's a
good.
top 3 or 4 defender in the league.
And
I'd
to be
say.
partnered with a fellow top 10 player in the league, like Damian Lillard, an absolute bucket. You know, the clutchest player in NBA history. We saw it again the other day with
Okay.
that game-winning layup. I think
Yeah.
if he can just defer to Dame in those clutch moments, the Bucks are going to be quite unstoppable going
Fair
forward.
enough.
I think the East will be Celtics, and then either the Cavs.
The Knicks don't.
I
make
like
it,
the
do they?
Knicks. I like the Knicks lineup, but Tom Thibodeau's
Cat's-
gonna run them into the
Cat's
ground.
defense
Cat's not
has
built
been
for 45 minutes a
really
game.
bad.
Yeah, Cat's defense is always gonna be lacking
Well,
inside.
I
but-
think Biggs was shooting.
I think
like
Bucks have a chance.
80% on him.
yeah,
inside.
like 93 or something ridiculous.
Who would you go for
But
the West?
I'll go Cavs Celtics.
Cavs Celtics. Yeah,
For the West, I think the Thunder.
I think so.
I think they're definitely
clear cut.
if they stay healthy, they're gonna have the best record in the league.
Nope.
In the West for sure.
the West definitely.
I mean, they can still have the best record in the league. I know the Cavs have started crazy, but they'll slow down.
Celtics still have a chance to do
Yeah,
this as well.
Celtics as well. But Thunder, great team, great young team.
No Chet at the
They're
moment,
gonna,
though.
yeah. Chet will be how long's he out for? Like 6
I think it
weeks.
was 5 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
he'll be back.
They're
in like 2 or
definitely
3.
running low on bigs. Isaiah coming back is going to help them. But
Huge for them.
I still think they'll go to the conference finals.
Yeah.
Last year they got knocked off by the Mavs,
Mm.
right? But I don't see the Mavs doing as well this year. I love the Mavs. I love Kyrie. I love Luka, but Luka hasn't looked great this season in my
Yeah.
opinion. Timberwolves, I don't think they'll.
You think they fall apart? Julius Randle can't.
I don't
play
think they
this
fall
whole
apart.
season.
I just don't think they are gonna do as well as last year.
Mm.
Nas Reed kind of took a lot of
He's
people by
hurt, isn't he?
surprise. Yeah, he's injured a little bit, but I just think he's not impacting the game as much because people kind of know how to play him now.
Yeah.
Randall and Gobert already hate each other, and
So who is it then?
I think it's the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh, God.
I think genuinely, if we stay healthy, one little move,
A good trade in the middle of the year will help you guys a lot.
2022 or 2023, sorry, when we traded for D'Lo and Vando, and we got all that package for Westbrook, we went on a crazy win streak. We had to win like 20 of our last 30 games or something, and we ended up doing it and making the conference finals that year.
Yeah.
So I think not even something as big as that, just like a little move for a wing defender or a defending guard, like a defensive-minded guard, instead of having D'Lo and Tony Snell, Gabe Vincent as our point guard rotation. I think that would set us up for a conference finals run. I mean, we went to conference finals with a worse team and a worse coach. And now we have JJ Redick. I think it's going to be pretty hard to stop LeBron and AD in the playoffs. And I'll put this on record and say a LeBron AD pick and roll is still the most unstoppable move in basketball.
I'm actually in agreement with you on this one, Adam.
Really?
I've got OKC and the Lakers as well.
Okay.
I think
All
the
knowledge.
Lakers, having started off 11-4, is it now?
10-5.
10-5.
Should be 11-4.
I think the Lakers, if they make a mid-season move, which I think they're almost guaranteed
Definitely
to at
will.
this point,
They have to.
and I really pray they do it with the Portland Trailblazers because there's a bunch of guys I want off of my team. And I'll
We'll
say
give
this,
you the picks.
I'll say this now for the first time live, and this pains me to say. I haven't said this out loud at all. We'll give you Anthony Simons as well.
Wow.
Oh my god, that hurt.
Why? Why do you want to give away
You know,
that?
one of my favorite players in the league.
Yeah.
Since Dame left, you know, baby Dame, Anthony Simons
He's
on
been
the rise.
so ass this year.
But this season, he's just looked a little bit out of place, and the emergence of Shaden Sharp. I still think we need more game time for Scoot to develop him, and I think Ant just gets in the way of that a little bit, and he's not so much on our timeline. So I would not be opposed to Portland potentially moving off Anthony Simons if you guys would like to
I
take
don't
him.
think we need him on the roster. I mean,
We'll give you him with Jeremy Grant and
I
maybe
honestly
even
just want-
DeAndre
I
Ayton.
honestly just want. Okay, you just gonna flip the whole team around.
Well, I just want us to build around
You're gonna-
Shaden and Kling Kong.
You're going to blow it up like the 2018 Cavs, bro.
Yeah, you're gonna completely switch the roster.
We need to
at
go
halfway.
fully Scoot, Shaden, Kling Kong. I think that's the way for the Blazers' future.
Clink on. My Western Conference Finals pick are a little bit different. Thunder's there.
Yeah.
I've got the Phoenix Suns making the conference
should've-
finals
I
this
should've
year.
mentioned it.
And I think it's because the Suns were missing something last year, a point guard. They have one of the best point guards in
They
the.
have two great
They have one of the
point
best role-playing point guards in the NBA.
Probably
with
the
Tyus
best.
Jones.
The best.
The best.
Offensive turnover ratio is off the charts.
Yeah.
A
He doesn't
very
turn it over.
good three-point shooter.
Monte Morris.
Monte
as
Morris
well.
off the bench as well. And obviously KD's a bit hurt right now, but I think he'll be back pretty soon.
Yeah.
Devin Booker's having a solid year. Bradley Beal's numbers have improved a bit this year too. Yusuf Nurkic sucks dick. Unfortunately, he's horrible. He's so bad.
Crazy.
So if he just keeps doing his role, they're fine. And they have a really good rookie in Ryan Dunn too.
Yeah, he's gonna
Shoots
be.
the ball well,
he's-
defensively very good.
He's gonna be like a Jaden McDaniels.
Yes.
Like very quickly. As well.
So I think the Phoenix Suns make a deep playoff run this year,
like
especially
the
with
Suns,
KD.
yeah.
And KD's the best player in
You
the
love
world.
KD, don't
still,
you?
he's one of my favorite players
Is
of all
Beal
time.
starting for them?
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
I think if they just pull the trigger, bring Beal off the bench, Tyus, D-Book, KD. I don't know who they're going to put at the 4. Maybe that other rookie. I forgot his
Yeah.
name. But I think they just need to bring Beal off the bench, and they'll be off. They'll be better off.
Okay, that's fair enough. But yeah,
So
so
I,
I
think
got
the Suns have a chance for sure. I
Yeah.
definitely think they'll finish either with a better record or further in the playoffs than like the Timberwolves.
yeah.
So those
Fair
are our conference finals predictions. And we're going to end off this pod this week with a little fun segment since we have a special guest here with us. We're going to do a wrestler spin the wheel. We're each going to
Long
have
ep today as well with the guests.
point guard,
More of content.
point guard
Great
through to
content.
center. We're going to spin a wheel of WWE wrestlers. Adam,
Past and
yourself,
present?
past and present. Yourself being a big WWE fan. You know, Finn and I a little bit knowledgeable on it as well.
Tiny bit.
And you're going to get a player from the wheel.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to put them in your lineup. Point guard through center.
Okay.
We're going to go through.
Little hive mind.
Do you want to start us off, Adam?
Yeah, I can start it.
I've got the wheel up here, guys. We'll put a little clip of it on the podcast.
Correct.
And yeah, let's get it going. See who your first pick is, Adam.
We got. Oh no. Oh.
Oh, interesting.
Ricochet. Okay, not even in WWE anymore. Recently got to AEW. He is a 5'9", probably shorter, high flyer. Don't know if you guys know too much about Ricochet, but I'll probably have to throw him at my shooting guard and just keep him out of the way, to be honest. Don't want him running the show.
For Finn, we'll spin the first one here.
CM
And
Punk!
You've got CM Punk. Finn.
Woohoo! I'll put him at my small forward.
Small
I
forward.
think.
Okay.
CM
Not a
Punk.
big guy, but he's a hard worker.
Yeah.
Fair enough. First pick for me, I've got none other than one of my favorite
Your
current
boy.
wrestlers, Bronson Reed, the big man from down under.
Big Bronny.
I am counting on the fact I might get an even bigger man, so I'm going to put this guy at the power forward spot.
Okay.
Bronson Reed.
He's gonna bang down low for sure.
Yeah. Second pick for Adam. Who we got?
Finn doesn't know any of these people.
Not really. I know Ricochet, but not Bronson Reed.
Don't give me no.
Ooh.
Evan Bourne! One of my favorites of all time. He's gonna be at your one, bro.
I think I'm gonna. That's bad. Ricochet and Evan Bourne are like the same person. Both not great on the mic. Don't have the personality to
Not
really.
great on the
No,
mic.
they're not. Ricochet's terrible on the mic. That's why he was cut.
Oh.
Yeah, he's great in ring. Him and Evan Bourne great in ring, but
Yeah.
he's not good on the mic. Neither of them can really run the show and give your team a speech. I don't want to put him at the one, but he's 5'5", so I kind of have to.
Evan Bourne.
So Evan Bourne and Ricochet is my backcourt. I'll get some bigger guys later on.
Finn,
Yeah.
your next WWE wrestler is...
Come on.
Oh, for fuck's
Oh.
sake.
No, he just missed him.
Oh, yes.
AJ
Oh, that's
Styles.
pretty good.
I don't know who that is. How tall is he?
Probably like 6 foot.
Good on the mic.
Yeah, he's alright. He's got a bit of a
6 foot. He
Aaron
can
haircut.
he can play at my 2.
At the 2.
Yeah, AJ Styles. Hopefully he's good in press conferences.
Next one for me,
He's got some good promos.
we've got...
Ooh.
Ooh, I like that.
Don't put him where I think you're gonna put him.
Rey Mysterio.
Mysterio.
Gotta put him where I think you
Wow,
put
a
him.
legend. Obviously with the... What's that move? What's that move that he does?
619.
619. That's pretty crazy. Obviously a very small guy. Very, very
Very
small. So I'm going to play him at my
5'3".
point guard, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that's the only spot you really can play. Old Ray. Him and
619 into a dunk.
him and Bronson Reed, some pick and rolls.
We might be able to get under his skin if we just take his mask off mid game. He has to come
Oh,
his
that's
face.
not very nice.
Yeah.
It's wrestling. We can do what we want, right? Wrestling rules or basketball rules?
Third pick
What
for
about
you,
the
Adam.
Russian basketball?
Yeah,
We've
we might
got-
do that. Oh my god, my team is garbage.
Big E.
Big E.
I don't know who
okay.
Big E is.
Big E coming off an injury, almost broke his neck
Oh,
a
tough.
couple of years back.
Ooh.
Hopefully he makes his return soon. But he's a big guy. I think he can handle Bronson Reed in the post. I'll try him with the 4.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
four.
I need some
Okay.
star power desperately.
That was 3 for you, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So number 3
Number
for
3 for me.
Finn. You need some size?
I need
am
some
right,
size.
Finn?
Yeah, AJ Styles and CM Punk so far. Give me a Big Show or
Oh.
it's a good pick.
The legend.
Shawn Michaels. Bit of sweet chin music, some could say. Wait, I can't really play the one though.
I'd rearrange your lineup.
Well, we can't.
You
No, you
can.
can't.
Is this not a blind ranking?
No, you can rearrange it.
Is it not a blind
No,
ranking?
you gotta put it.
It's a blind
You wanna
ranking.
rearrange?
No, you
No,
can't.
no,
Blind
okay.
ranking.
Okay.
I'm putting Shawn Michaels at the 4 then.
Ooh,
The 4.
with
I don't.
Bronson Reed and
I don't know.
Big
If, yeah, he might.
He's gonna get
he
power
might be-
slammed.
I think that might be it for Finn James.
Yeah, my wrestling knowledge not the greatest. I'm hoping for a Brock Lesnar.
I thought we could rearrange.
Is this
No,
number
we
3
can't.
for me?
It's blind
This is
ranking.
number 3 for me. And I've got one of the Usos.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Jay.
main event.
I think he's the better Uso of the 2. Main event, Jay Uso. What do I have free?
2, 3, and 5.
2, 3, and 5. I think Jay will be a nice fit at the 2 next to Rey Mysterio.
Cool.
I'm going to play Jay at the 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Number
super
4
kick-
for
him and
Adam.
Shawn Michaels gonna be super kicking everyone.
Yeah. Number 4 for you, Adam.
Please give me the goat. Oh my god, oh, that's close. I mean, I'll
Oh.
take it.
Triple
I'll take
H.
it.
Triple H is
I'll
very, very
take
good.
CEO Triple H.
3 or 5.
I'm chucking him at the 3, bro.
3.
The 3. He's gonna be my LeBron.
Ooh.
Everything's going through Triple H,
A
bro. They're
legend,
feeding him.
Just like LeBron.
Yeah, bro. His entrance is crazy. He's gonna get the fans going wild before the games.
And Finn, you have got none other than...
He's got no clue.
I don't know. Is it a woman?
Yeah.
At the 1.
No,
The one.
she's great. She's a good wrestler.
She's at the 1.
If you want to, guys, insert the clip of her flying off the top of the steel cage in a garbage can.
I think I've seen
Yeah,
that.
I
I
think
think
I
I've
showed you
seen
it. I
that.
showed you it.
She's tough.
She's a high
at my
flyer.
1.
No, she's a high flyer.
She's at my 1.
She can't
Calling in
speak
at the
much
one.
English, but she'll run the team.
Okay,
At the one.
sweet.
With your power forward, Shawn.
Yeah, I think I'm sold here.
All right.
I mean,
fourth
it's the luck
pick,
of the wheel, bro.
4th pick for me. Who we got?
Oh no.
Oh, not
Okay.
quite.
Still pretty big.
Dusty Rhodes.
Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, his dad. Yeah.
Don't know too much about him. Is he?
He's a
big?
legend.
He's big and fat.
And I've got what spot?
3 and 5.
Oh, I think that's quite a perfect 3 right there. And I'm gonna pray for a big man. At
I don't think he's
5.
going to keep up with Triple H.
Our last
but
picks
we'll
here,
see.
boys.
I need a big.
We all need a centre.
I
We
need
all
a
need a
big-
centre.
We all
Please
need
give me,
centres?
We
give
all
me
need
Big
a
Show.
centre.
Give me Kane. Give me someone.
I want Omos.
I want Kane. You don't want Omos. I want Kane. He's mobile.
You've
Oh my
got
god, yes.
the Viper.
way.
Give me Randy Orton. Top
Legend.
3 of all time.
A
In
lot
my
bigger
opinion.
than some people expected.
He's like 6'5", bro. If you
6'4".
see him, he's like massive.
Massive.
And he's about
Strong.
260 now. Like you see him at the
Damn.
pay-per-views nowadays, he's bigger than a lot of the
We
guys.
might all have quite
Him at 5
smaller
isn't bad for
centres.
me. Him and Big E can switch it around in the game. I don't mind.
Okay. And Finn, your center is.
Come on.
Ooh. Oh, that's pretty. He's a pretty big guy. Solo Sikoa.
Solo, I love you, Solo.
Don't know who that is.
The Bloodline.
He's,
the Bloodline.
Oh, he's got Jay, and you've got Solo. They're brothers in real life.
Oh, sweet.
They'll have some beef on the court.
Awesome. And Will's centre position.
Come on, give me Big Show. Big Show or what's that other?
Well.
Mark Henry.
Mark Henry would be a good one.
Oh,
No way.
I got the
Oh, Cody
father-son duo on my
That's-
team,
that's
eh?
Cody and Dusty running a
Team
high
Orange Juice, 2K17.
Orange juice.
bro.
Did they get a boost?
Team
No,
chemistry
they
is going to be at 100% in this one.
Should we run through
Finish
the
the
teams
story.
before we get out of here?
Let's go through our teams real quick, Finn.
All right, so mine, Io Sky, trash can off the Tell on the Cell, tough, at number 1. AJ Styles at my shooting guard, CM Punk at my small forward, Shawn Michaels at my power forward, and Solo Sequoia at 5. Don't know who that is. Adam, do you want to go through your team here?
I've got Evan Bourne at the 1, Ricochet at the 2, couple high flyers. My LeBron James, Triple H at the
Fair.
3, Big E at the 4, and Randy at the 5.
And for me, I've got Rey Mysterio at the 1, Jey Uso at the 2, Dusty Rhodes at the 3, Bronson Reed at the 4, and Cody Rhodes at the 5. Let us know, guys,
Put it in the poll.
who has the best team here. We're going to have a 3-way poll.
Randy and Triple H are on my team.
And yeah, let us know what you would change and who your favourite wrestlers of all time are, maybe.
Yeah.
Down below.
Who's your wrestling goat?
Who is your wrestling goat? But
Good
I don't know
wrestling.
who wins this. My team's losing.
Yeah.
I'm tiny.
Yeah. We'll
But
say
it was a good fun little segment. I'm sure we'll do some more with this in the future. Thank you again, Adam, for coming on. We've had an extended episode of the
Yeah.
Fast Break podcast today. There's a lot to talk about, some good takes in here. It was a lot of fun. I'm sure Adam or another one of our mates will probably return for an episode in the future, especially around, I think, NBA Cup Finals, I think would be good to get
Yeah.
someone on, and NBA playoffs, of course. I think it's
live watch party.
we could do a live watch party.
Might have a
yeah.
four-man episode at some
But
point as well.
we're going to have some more guests on in the future, but it was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in for an extended
Thanks for
episode.
joining us, Adam.
If you like the longer episodes, let us know, because we can definitely stretch these out in the future with more of us here to talk about. When it's just Will and I, obviously it's a bit harder for us to have more opinions and stuff, but with more of us, we can have a lot more content. So thank you so much for joining episode 14. No episode next week with me and Oz. Sorry, team. But episode 15 will be a lot to unpack. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time.